That is how you have an emotionally driven episode. Holy crap. So, this episode was after the fight. And I said at the beginning of my reaction that I felt as though because All Might now knows who Shigaraki is, or who he is related to, that All Might will not have the same level of clear judgment. He's not going to have the same, like, just straight, you're a villain method of fighting, which he can't fight anymore anyway, but he's going to treat Shigaraki differently. And right off the bat, Gran Torino just shut him down, was just like, what are you going to do? You need to go and be a teacher. We'll take care of this because you are not going to treat Shigaraki like a villain. He is a villain. That's what you have to treat him as. And that was kind of neat because it's a really interesting perspective on how something like that, even though One for All for One is now in prison, which we see at the end, even though he's in prison, he still has a lingering effect on All Might. And All Might no longer has One for All, which means that because of that, well, number one, he can't hold his muscle form for very long or nearly at all. And it's just this, oh man, it's such an amazing way of seeing a long-standing effect on a villain who is now out of the story, who's been defeated. It's really well done, but after that, the UA has now implemented a dorm system where the students are going to stay in dorms at the school, presumably for protection. I would assume that's what it's for. I was kind of like trying to keep up, but there was a lot of stuff that they were saying, along with a lot of stuff being put up on the screen for like dialogue and text. So I kind of missed, I'm sure I missed some details. I'll have to go back and see them during editing, but the dorm system is in place now, and Aizawa and All Might had to go around to the parents and explain that to them, like, you know, get criticized or questioned about it. We got to see, I always forget her name, the girl with the earphone jacks. We got to see her and her parents, and apparently her dad was like, has like, I don't know, similar, I would assume a similar power to Present Mike, but I don't know. And then her mom had the earphone jacks quirk, and so of course that's where we see she got her quirk from, at least it seems. But yeah, the parents, apparently in that one they didn't have to face as much criticism. Bakugo's family did not really criticize them too much, though it was a very stressful environment because his dad, Bakugo's dad, seems very calm, very cool and collected, which is funny because on the contrast, both Bakugo and his mom are psychotic. They are spitting images of one another in terms of both the way they look, which actually Bakugo's dad has the same kind of hair, but they are spitting images of one another, and they both have the same attitudes. And it's like watching two Bakugos shouting at each other, except one's his mom and one's Bakugo. It was hilarious. Even All Might's like, what's with the darkness in this family? It was really funny to see. But as they were leaving, we see Bakugo ask All Might, what is Deku to you? He's very sharp. He sees that clearly Izuku took a different meaning to what All Might said than what anybody else took. And Bakugo sees that and kind of identifies the fact that there's something different in the relationship between Deku and All Might than there is with anybody else. And when All Might just says he's a student just like you, with, you know, future prospects, blah blah blah, even Bakugo, like, he's like, I know you're bullshitting me, so whenever you want to, you know, you don't have to tell me, that's fine. So there was that. God, Bakugo is very sharp. He's very short-tempered, but he's very sharp, very clever. He's way smarter than I think most people give him credit for. And the people who do give him credit obviously are aware that he's very clever. But, oh, man. Then, after that, we see All Might talking with Deku's mom, with Izuku's mom. And she's against it. She is against the dorm program. After, of course, we see she's, you know, she doesn't trust UA as it is currently because of everything that just happened, all the stuff that they went through with the fight, with the kidnapping of Bakugo, with the attacks on the school, all of that. And it's just like, she's not comfortable with it. She doesn't want it. She's completely against it. And it was, she was ready to just say no more. Izuku's not being a part of the hero program. We'll take him to another hero program or something, because there's a lot of them around, so we'll do something like that. But then Deku ran out of the room, came back with a letter, and he said, this kid at the training camp who hates heroes, who hates quirks, made me his hero. Made me a hero. And it was very clear at that point. God, it was such an emotional moment too. It made it very clear that Deku is not only following in All Might's footsteps, but preceding, going above and beyond, plus ultra, going above and beyond what it would take to follow in All Might's footsteps and becoming his own hero, which is so cool to see, because you know that that's exactly what Deku wants to do, and you see that All Might understands the situation, understands where both Deku's coming from and where his mother's coming from, and he goes into his muscular form and bows and apologizes, asks for an apology, and makes it very clear that, like, he goes, I want him to be my successor. Basically telling, it was kind of, I think he made it clear what's going on now with Deku's ability coming from All Might. But with that, his mom said, All Might even says, I'm willing to lay down my life to protect and teach Izuku. And his mom goes, you don't have to lay down your life. Live a productive life, but protect Izuku. And if you can promise me that, Izuku can live at the UA. And All Might promised her that. And so next episode we get to see them in dorms, or get to see them moving into dorms. So that'll be interesting. But this was definitely, I feel like, the end of the kind of big moments. This was kind of the end of the long build towards this epic fight. And I think now is kind of going to be, and I don't know because I don't read the manga, but I feel like there's probably going to be a good cool down period before the end of the season where we'll see some cooling down. But then after all of that, after everything that we saw, all this driven emotion, we see something that is actually a very good point. And I love how they develop the thought processes behind these villains and kind of bigger themes as well. So we see All For One being escorted through a prison. And he says, he's talking about All Might, he said, you missed your opportunity to leave. You missed your opportunity to die. Because by All For One leaving and not being around anymore for Shigaraki will now become a more mature leader. He knows now how to fight. He's making more mature decisions. He is now fighting to avenge and to become the next, top villain. And by All Might not dying, by not leaving, now the students are closer to him, which means that they will be more, well, in his mind, they will be more dependent on him and less independent as a whole, which is a really interesting way to think about it. It's true, because now they don't have they don't have a catalyst to become stronger independently. They are now dependent on All Might. I don't think that will happen, solely because we've seen the characters act independently already fairly well. They are fairly dependent on the teachers at the moment, but they're still students, whereas I feel like the actions they have taken, though, are very independent. Also, we got to see All Might do a No Might Texas Smash, which was kind of funny. But that's something totally different that my brain just thought of. Anyway, if you guys are done watching my little review, head on down to the link in the description. Go on over and watch this video. Let me know what you guys think. I do really hope you enjoy it, because it is so worth it. This episode was amazing. Hope you guys enjoy the reaction to it. Check out the links in the description other than that one as well. Like, subscribe, leave a comment when you guys are done watching. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode, and I will see you all in the next episode. Make sure to be there and have a good one.